In the not too distant future, Earth is in peril, so we are sending people into space aboard a tiny rocket ship. They can take with them 7 books. The first 5 are their favourites. The 6th is one they hate so much they get thrown into space to consign it to obscurity forever. And the 7th is the book they would commit to the canon, for which humanity will be remembered. Co-produced by Bookmark London and Morocco Bound Bookshop and hosted by me, Adam R.W. This is Rocket Ship Reads. My guest this week, I'm very delighted to introduce you, is an actor, comedian, writer, improviser, and 5 minutes ago when I was writing her introduction, I discovered that she had an IMDb page. So incredibly exciting. Congratulations on that.
Thanks.
Molly Rose Treves, welcome. Applause for Molly Rose Treves.
Rapturous applause.
How are you, Molly Rose?
I'm doing very well. Feeling very blissed out. I've been saunaing. I'm really into the sauna right now.
Nice.
It's a great thing. The cold plunge, the sauna. It's just a fantastic way of really just feeling chill.
Yeah, very good.
Chill into
is that one of the main things you'll miss when we put you on the rocket ship? The sauna?
The sauna.
Yeah.
I don't know how saunas they couldn't work, could they, in space?
I don't think so, no.
Where would all the
Probably not.
steam and
the heat, pouring the water feels quite dangerous.
Someone should look into that. They should try and...
Space sauna.
Space sauna.
Maybe that's the next series of this podcast. We can make a space sauna.
You're in the space sauna.
We're already struggling to define the format of this already. We're not adding a sauna.
Eucalyptus oil and a sauna hat. Have you seen the sauna hats?
No.
Oh, they're so fantastic.
Do you own a sauna hat?
I don't, but
Is it like a swimming cap?
They're like these like weird, I don't even know what they're made from, like felt hats. Okay. And you see these kind of like huge like bodybuilder guys that like come into the sauna and have these like tiny little hats on. And they sit there and they're like, you all right? This guy goes to my sauna who's currently here from Mallorca, like building some stuff, and he keeps his contract keeps getting extended. And he like will come in and just be like, oh, I'm Molly Rose. This guy's a sauna hat. It's very nice.
Does the sauna hat make you trust him more or less?
I think it does make me trust him more because he's physically terrifying.
Yeah.
So the hat kind of humanizes. Yeah. But he's also just quite funny because he's always really upset about how his contract's been extended because he just wants to get back to Spain.
Okay.
God bless him.
That's tough for him.
So
he's sweating out the pain and the anguish in the sauna with you. So we've got a few introductory questions to begin. My first one is about you yourself, Molly Rose Treves. How do you describe who you are?
How do I describe who I am?
What are you all about?
Curiosity. I'd say curiosity and a desire to play.
How does that manifest in the sauna, for example?
In the sauna, I chat quite a lot in the sauna. I like to talk to people. I find people like incredibly interesting, and kind of feel like knowing people and getting to know people is like one of my favorite things in the world, which is probably what led me to then acting, investigating characters, then doing character comedy, and then, like writing. Because I feel like it's all just really inspired by people that I've met that I find really interesting.
Yeah, that's interesting. This is a very observational.
Yeah.
With that hastily drafted introduction that I came up with your ass, but now, obviously, is there any part of that description of yourself that you identify with more as an actor or a writer or a comedian, or is it all kind of bundled up together in your mind?
Well, I feel like, in a way, it feels like there's like performer, writer. It feels like more like it makes sense to me because I feel like there's one half of my creative pursuits which involves like being in front of people and being quite like extroverted and connecting, and like there's like an energy exchange that's quite like intense. And then writing, and I also I had spent quite a lot of time painting when I was younger. Those are the two parts of like my creative life that feel really, really like just me. It feels like a very like solo experience, which feels like a very different part of myself creatively, which I think as I get older I enjoy like a lot more.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Do you still go back to that painting?
Yeah, I haven't painted in a long time actually. I was speaking to my mum about this recently because she was like, why don't you go back and like paint again? Like that was such a good thing for a while. And it was, but I think I just have too many interests. I'm really like jack of all trades, master of none. I do feel that is like my curse. I'm so interested in so many things and so consistently find myself like diverted suddenly by a new thing. And then I'm like, oh, and now it's this and now it's that. which in a way means I have like an incredibly interesting and full life, which is fantastic.
Well, you spend a lot of time in the sauna already. That's incredible. Then what more do you need in your life? You've had a great time.
Yeah, I'm having a great time.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think the painting has been replaced with the novel writing. Because I think
yes.
that has become painting. And also the kind of the protagonist of my book is a painter. So there's something in that feels like it's like adjacent to that world.
Yeah, that's quite a cool way of exploring it. That is coming true in your characters now.
Yeah.
Yeah, very good. Well, I think we'll come back to the novel when we're talking about your choices, because I want to ask you more about that. But I'm conscious of the fact that this is about your choices.
Yeah, please.
But we need to do these.
Can I just start by saying I fucking hate space and I would not go.
You would never want
If
to go?
someone contacted me and said, do you want to go? I'd be like, I'd rather die.
Yeah, I respect that. I think in this kind of loosely drawn format and the place that we're putting you, basically you have to go.
Yeah, I can
Earth
see
is
that.
dying.
I'd be bummed is all I'm saying.
No, that's fair. I think that's kind of shit. I mean, it is kind of shit, the situation we're putting you in. Putting you in a very small rocket ship that only has space for 7 books.
Yeah.
And we don't think you're going to have any, like, nice food. It's probably going to be, like, pellets.
Yeah, okay.
Water from...
Pellets?
I don't know. What are they called? Not pellets, like capsules.
Capsules.
You know the things the astronauts have in space?
Yeah, right. I've actually had a weird amount of, like, astronaut stuff coming up on my like algorithm recently.
Is that because of Artemis II?
Maybe,
Artemis
yeah.
2?
There've been loads of videos people like of them like playing with water.
Yeah.
But I find it all so disgusting. I find space in general.
Really? What is
rancid.
it? The lack of gravity that upsets you? Or?
I think I'm just not existential enough to be interested. Like, or maybe if I am existential, I'm existential in a very like earthbound way. Whereas I think some people are kind of like fascinated by space in this way of like the vastness, the nothingness. For me, that's like no. No, don't want to know. Leave me.
It's terrifying to you.
Yeah.
You don't like
Keep
it.
me on the like ground.
Yeah. Well, I'm interested to see if your choices like lean into this existential dread that's going to define our next hour long. It's going to be good. All right. The next question actually is, how are you feeling about being on the rocket ship? You've already said how you're feeling about dread. Existential. What did you say as well? Existential. I have an earthbound existentialism or something.
Yeah, mine is earthbound.
It's like quite a wanky hinge prompt. That I feel like we can make a note of that.
It's quite male.
Yeah,
it's not very female.
Like, oh god, no, I don't know which way. So we got some quick fire book questions to warm up.
Yep.
Who to you is the most overrated writer ever?
Overrated writer? I thought it was book. Is it writer?
We can do both.
Okay. Well, the book I was going to choose would be Pride and Prejudice.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Yeah.
Big time for me.
Why?
Because I just think it's like 3 sentences to say one thing. And it's not actually against the story, because weirdly enough, the 2005 film is like one of my favourite films. The cinematography of like the English countryside, I think is so nice.
Joe Wright, the director.
I love that film. Yeah. But it's like, I've read that book twice. It's the only book I've ever like hated and read twice. And I honestly, I really tried to force myself. And I just was like, oh, it's just like enough, man. Just say the thing. Just like give me the sentence.
Yeah.
I don't really like things that are too like languid. I find that irritating.
So you feel like it's too drawn out?
Yeah.
Then why did you read it twice? What possible like?
First time I read it was we were studying it. Okay. You know, and I had to get that A star.
There we go. That's a bit of a flex. Strength to the camp.
Straight to camp.
So congratulations, Amira.
So
that's very
one of my proudest achievements.
Yeah, that's
and then I read it again because I loved because of the fact that I was like, that I love this film so much. I love this story so much. Why can I not enjoy this book? I must try again. So I forced myself through it. It took like 8 months. Kept just being like, oh my god. So yeah, big, because people love Austen, and that's fine. That's cool.
Well, it feels like it isn't fine. Yeah, that's very fair. I kind of agree. I liked Pride and Prejudice, but Emma I find very insufferable. As a character in the whole book, it just went on. It's quite irritating.
I have some feeling that I might enjoy Mansfield Park. Yeah. And I don't know why.
Maybe we can do a folloth-up episode and then we'll follow-up conversation in like 6 to 8 months' time. After you rage reading Mansfield Park. I fucking hate this as well. Well, so most overrated writer ever, then also Jane Austen.
Yeah,
you say, okay. So. Nice. Wow.
Pretty savage. I hate to be coming for women because that feels... I did struggle with that when thinking about this. I was like, I don't really want to be like being rude about a woman, but at the same, it's just the truth for
Well, I'm
me.
intrigued to see what your choices are now. It's just all the work of David Foster Wallace. That's what I'd say. Jane Austen. Has there been a good female writer?
Ian McEwan over and over again.
Yeah. Oh God, no! There have been many wonderful, fantastic female writers of all genders.
Yeah.
We don't want people to cancel us just yet.
No, please don't.
Or maybe we do. Maybe it's good for virality.
I'd say so. Content.
It's all just fucking content.
Fucking content.
So Jane Austen, most overrated writer ever.
Yep.
What is the book you most frequently pretend to have read?
This is hard because I actually don't think I have pretended to read many books. I've not finished quite a lot of books. And then maybe have made it seem like I've read them when I've not finished them.
Yeah, okay.
My main example of this, I think, is the Bible.
Wow.
Because I've definitely went to a Christian school. I've definitely read the New Testament, probably.
That's pretty cool.
But I don't think I've
That's an interesting example of where the sequel is actually better than the original, isn't it? Yeah.
I can't, it's like, you have there's this feeling, I think, of I feel like I've read it, but I haven't read it. I haven't read page to page the Bible.
Yeah. It's
Been a
quite an
conversation
undertaking to read the whole Bible.
Yeah.
So were you all expected to have read the whole Bible at your school?
Yeah, I imagine so. I remember, this is terrible, but I remember in year 5 at my school, we were all given Bibles as a gift.
Nice.
And I remember going through the first few pages and crossing out any mention of a person's name and just writing my name instead.
That is really interesting. That's that's an insane thing to do. Wait, so every named character in the Bible.
Name, but I don't think not obviously not. It couldn't have been Genesis because where are the names yet? But
Adam and Eve, Molly Rose.
I just when it was in the first few pages, I was like Molly Rose. I thought it was really funny.
What about the snake? You're replacing the snake
and Molly Rose.
Oh God.
I know, it's kind of scary. Some narcissism.
That's like a Messiah complex immense somewhere.
It was my idea was that because I put it back on, there was shelves outside our classrooms, and I put it back on the shelf and assumed that a student then one day would come and pick it up and find and I'd be somehow immortalized.
Yeah.
Because they'd be like, who was Molly Rose?
And then thousands of years in the future, that's the version of the Bible that survives. They just really love this Molly Rose character.
It's the same probably that wants to graffiti on walls and be like, remember me.
Yeah, a sense of permanence in this transient veil.
So, I was already struggling with impermanence. I was already dealing with that fear.
It's interesting though. Yeah, we're at existentialism and permanence. Well, we're moving on to the next quickfire. These quickfire book questions are never quickfire. I don't know why I still call them quickfire. But I think they're fun. Yeah, they're a nice way of starting the rockets. Yeah. Rocket fuel, we could call this. Maybe this is called rocket fuel now.
Yeah, rocket fuel.
That's what we're going to change this to from now on.
God, and I was here when it happened.
Oh, this is beautiful. You were the spark that lit the rocket fuel. Okay, no, that's we're going to.
It's not like a Spark song, but
Sparks by Coldplay.
Yeah, or Sparks.
That's a band. I don't know who.
Or the actual band Sparks.
The band, are they?
They're great.
Named after the Coldplay song.
No, they're fantastic. You got to get into Sparks, man.
Jordan Sparks.
Jordan Sparks. Oh yeah. If you want to get into Sparks, you should listen to Dick Around.
Dick Around.
That's my favourite Spark song.
I'll make a note of that.
It's all I do now is dick around.
Nice. Very good rendition. That.
So good.
On my notes now it says the Bible and dick around. This is nice. Very good notes. So we're moving on to the astral dinner. On this rocket ship, you can invite a writer, either dead or alive. But if they are dead, it's not their desiccated corpse. They get reanimated for a night. Yeah. You can have a dinner with them on the rocket ship to discuss, have a tete-a-tete. Do whatever you want to do. Share some food pellets.
Share some.
Yes. Which writer do you want to invite? Which writer?
Another tricky one. There's lots of really, really interesting people, I think, to spend time with. But not to bring it back to as a woman, but I was kind of quite a lot of the writers I'd want to spend time with might, be a bit dodgy. So I actually have landed on John Ronson because I would love to spend time with him. I went to his a book signing he did 2 years ago, and he is the person I've read basically everything he's ever written.
Oh, cool.
Even his essays, everything. I find his brain and his way of writing and his journalism so interesting. Yes. And all of the stories he tells, I feel to have him for dinner, he could tell me so many great stories. Yeah. I love his writing. Yeah. It's so simple, but really fucking interesting.
Very clear. And very funny, I think.
Yeah, so funny.
I think I've only read the one book, So You've Been Publicly Shamed. I haven't read The Psychopath Test. But I thought that one was. I read that in COVID, quite early on in COVID.
Good. Them Adventures with Extremists is real.
Yeah,
that's another really sick one.
So the men who stare at goats.
That's
as well
also
as that.
him, yeah.
Those it's because they did a film adaptation of that as well.
Yeah.
He seems like quite interesting. I think he's quite comparable in a way to Louis Theroux.
He is.
People make that comparison quite a lot, don't they?
Yeah, they're like
on original insight. Yeah.
Yeah, but there's something about John Watson that I find a little bit more like he's a bit more self-deprecating. So I feel like there's something a bit more accessible.
You think Louis is a bit cocky, a bit arrogant?
I wouldn't say. I would never say anything like it personally. No, but like I just think John. I don't know. He just when he like is speaking about meeting people and talking to them, it's like there's so little judgment, and I love that. It's like he really, I don't know. I just think he's got a lovely nature. Yeah, I'd love to have dinner with him.
That's very nice. Yeah. I think that'll be a lovely dinner.
Yeah.
As you sail further out into the outer reaches of the solar system.
Yeah.
He does seem. I kind of view him as more like a popular anthropologist in a way.
Yeah.
And Louis Theroux is to a slightly lesser extent, but because John Monson I think is more of a writer than Louis Theroux.
Yeah.
But maybe that's why Louis Theroux, because Louis Theroux, you would say, is probably more famous and more widely celebrated.
Yeah, definitely.
But
John Watson did this great podcast series, the Culture Wars, this like podcast series.
Cool.
That is so good. Nice. It's called Things Fell Apart.
Yeah.
And he goes into all these different stories. The first series is kind of like a few like from across different times, and then the second series is throughout kind of COVID. And he's just, I don't know how his researchers, if he does all the research himself. It's just so, I'd love to be him.
Yeah.
It's another thing of like someone I think I could never do something like that, but I'm so fascinated by him because of that.
Well, why do you think you could never do something like that?
I just have the patience, I don't think. I don't know how he finds the stories. Because the stories he finds are so interesting. Yeah. I'm like, how do you do that? Don't know.
Interesting. Yeah. That's cool. I like that. Very nice choice.
Thanks.
So our final quickfire book question is the literary comet. I don't know if this was in the briefing pack, actually.
Yeah, there was
a scorched earth opinion that everyone will hate you for about literature.
Yes.
Maybe you've disrespected Jane Austen, which is very
I have. They'll probably get me. They're also going to come for me with my book I'm going to yeet into space, I think.
Yeah. Oh, interesting. Well, that's kind of the point as well.
Yeah.
But this is a controversial literary hot take.
Yeah.
Because we're leaning into the content.
This is very, I think this is very controversial.
Oh, okay.
I believe that if you've listened to an audiobook, you've read a book.
I don't think that's controversial.
Honestly, like I've had so many arguments with my friends about this.
Yeah.
Because some people think if you've listened to a book, you should say you've listened to it. You're not like, that you shouldn't say you've read it because you haven't read it. But in my head, I'm like, the way you consume the book doesn't really change the fact that you've read the book.
Yeah.
In my eyes.
I kind of agree that you have consumed. And people are dyslexic.
Yeah, or blind.
It feels a bit judgmental. Blind.
Or blind.
Yeah.
For me, it's more like I listen to audiobooks because if I'm really enjoying a book, I want to be able to walk and listen.
Yeah.
So like if I'm going somewhere, it annoys me that I can't be like that.
Yeah.
So it's really useful to be able to like.
I agree with that, but I also do find those people who you've not that frequently see walking along reading books very charming, very eccentric.
I've done it sometimes.
I think that's like a really eccentric thing to do.
Charming,
in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because you see, everyone does it in like walks and texts.
Yeah.
But it feels like something of a bygone era. People walking along and reading their book from the tube or something.
But that's the thing. It's also like fuck Kindles. I mean, that's terrible.
Yeah,
you can't say that.
True. Yeah.
But I do feel so strongly.
And, sponsored by Amazon. This podcast. No, it's definitely not. Okay, that's I think that's less controversial than you think it is.
Really?
I think, yeah.
Wait, I think I have another controversial. Let me see.
No, I'm not. We don't need another controversial thing. I think
actually, I had a hot take that I think. Tell me about this. Okay, I believe strongly that embellishment in memoir is fine.
Ooh.
Unless it's hurting someone.
Interesting.
Unless someone is like hurt by it, I basically think it's completely fine.
What is an example of
that
you think is acceptable?
Or at least this is very individual because obviously everyone think what they think. But from my perspective, did you ever have tabs on that? Was it James Frey, Million Little Pieces, the Oprah thing?
No.
It's like years ago. He wrote this book about him going into rehab. He was on Oprah. There was like some big scandal because it turned out he kind of fabricated parts of his memoir.
Oh, interesting.
And I remember speaking to friends about it. When I read it, I didn't know that it was that this scandal had happened.
Yeah.
And then my friend telling me about it and being like, that just doesn't change my experience of the book at all.
Oh, wow.
I'm just not bothered by the idea. Or like Shantaram.
Yes.
It's always like how much of that is real, how much is not. I think it just doesn't bother me.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I can see that. I respect that as an opinion. I don't know if I agree with it.
Yeah.
I think some people put a lot of stock in a memoir being completely authentic, being truthful.
But how can a memoir be completely authentic? How can it?
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's probably a slightly separate argument with things like autofiction.
Yes, true.
I mean, all of these are different categories.
Well, then there's the other side of it with something like The Salt Path, which obviously that's terrible.
Yeah,
because that's like, that's obviously, you've like hurt lots of people.
It's so terribly written as a.
Yeah.
I know this sounds terrible, but I fucking hated that book when I first read it. But I was like, oh, it's well done, nice story. This sounds horrible. Maybe we'll edit this out. But I was kind of glad that it turned out she was a charlatan because I was like, she can't fucking write.
But this is the thing.
And everyone was holding this up as like amazing book.
But I think part of it is really, it's like if the writing, then maybe that's the point, is more like if the writing's good, then I'm not all that bothered about whether it's true or not. I think if the most interesting thing about your story is that it's true, and it's a lie, then that's bad. But if it's a great story, and it happens to be like a bit fabricated, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, that's quite a nice rule.
Don't mind.
Yeah, I like that. I feel like that is actually a potentially hotter take.
Okay, good.
And the audiobook one, but both equal.
Two hot takes.
Oh, nice. Beautiful. Oh my God, it's absolutely scolding you.
Enjoy.
So we've done our incredibly long, quick fire questions to warm up. I think we can move on to your choices if you're happy to do that.
Yeah, good.
So do you want to tell us what your first choice of book that you're going to take with you on the rocket ship is?
Yes, it's really, really difficult because there's basically one book that I've now taken out because I was like, maybe not. So maybe I'll come back to that as an honourable mention. But there's a book from like my childhood that I kind of wanted, but now I've kind of changed my mind about. Not that this is unimportant to say, but it's just because I'm like, I'm still on the fence. But I'll say my first is Angus Thongs and Perfect Snogging. Or like the series.
Sorry, no, we've had it chosen already.
Really?
It's the most popular book in history.
Because it's a life changer.
Yeah.
I think it truly but also it's like a personal thing. I think that's because I was like thinking about books like from when I was younger. It's not the first book that ever had a big effect on me, but it was like, I had this one like birthday, Christmas, whatever, when I was around like 15, where everyone in my family got me a book for Christmas. So like my dad, my mum, and both my brothers all got me books.
Yeah.
And my dad got me The Republic.
Yeah.
Plato's Republic.
Yeah.
My mum got me a Danielle Steele book about menopause.
Nice, yeah.
My other
range from your parents.
My brother, my oldest brother, got me Ways of Seeing, the John Berger thing.
Yeah.
And then my other brother, who I'm closer to in age, got me Angus Thongs and Perfect Snogging.
Oh, there we go.
And then it was like this really hilarious, I think, moment in my life where I was like, all these options. And there was like all these options. And I was like, and Angus Thongs and Perfect Snogging was like revolutionary. Like it was so, I think life had felt so serious and it felt so much more interesting to be serious. And something about that book and how frivolous and like, it's just girlhood. Like it's just about girlhood in a way that is like so comforting and fantastic, and about like fancying boys and nungas. It's just like, I think it's the best. It's my one of my big long-term dreams is to write like the TV adaptation of Angus Thongs.
Oh, cool.
It's like I'd love to do
great.
that.
Cool. What did you think of the film adaptation? Because they did that a few years ago.
It was good, but it's like you don't get the breadth of the storyline with Dave the Laugh.
Yes.
And like that whole.
He's her big
trouble. Yeah. Because she doesn't end up with Robbie. She doesn't end up with Massimo. She ends up with Dave the Laugh, and it's really this like all of these books of her figuring out somehow that the guy she should really be with is the guy who's a laugh.
Yeah.
It's not the like flashy guy in the band or the Italian. It's the flipping lovely guy who's a laugh.
Yeah.
And they're mates. And like, it's just so beautiful. And they're in my bathroom and I read them. I read them all the time. I go back to them. They're like, that's my Bible.
Yeah, that's nice. Wait, so would you take the full series? Or
Yes, if I could.
So that's your one series?
Yeah, am I allowed?
Yeah, we say that you're allowed to take one series.
Yeah, it would be that.
So you could take that if you want.
Take them all. My favourite book of the series is the second one, though.
And that's Angus Thongs, is it?
No, Angus Thongs is the first. The second one is... it's the blue one. Can't remember what it's called. Then he had
Knocked Out by My Nunga Nungas. Is that a book? Is that one?
That would be the third.
Yeah.
It might be Then He Ate My Boy in Trances, which is her fake eyelashes.
Yes. Yeah. My cousins and my sisters were into those books when we were... How old were you when you read them?
15.
Yeah.
And it was also the year I first fell in love. Had my first boyfriend.
Yeah.
Like, it was all... like it for me, it's so visceral of this, like, time in my life where I let myself stop being so serious for a summer and just kind of, like, let myself be a girl.
Yeah.
And that was just so gorgeous.
Do you think that had quite a big impact then on your writing style? Because do you use like primarily a comedic writer and actor? Yeah. Is that where it kind of began almost, reading a book like that? Yeah,
maybe. I definitely think like people who have read like excerpts from my book often say to me that there's a bit of like a Bridget Jones-esque vibe to it. Maybe a bit more like dark.
Yeah.
But there's something of that in it. I think like women talking about being a woman and like the strangeness and kind of like, I don't know, these things that are often in, I feel like a lot of male authors in history see the frivolousness or the kind of like buoyancy of women as this really awful thing they need to react against and kind of put down. And I value it so highly as like communication, honesty, transparency, like this connection, this like deep soul connection between like girls. And I love that stuff. That's so much of what inspires me.
Yeah, that's really cool. I think that's a very lovely first pick.
Okay, good.
No, they're thinking about your literary kind of heritage or inspirations. So that's your series.
Yeah.
What is it the name of the overall series is Angus Thongs and Full Frontal Snogging?
Yeah.
Is that right? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's on the rocket ship. You've got it.
On the ship. Thank God.
Yeah, there we go. The second time someone says this is very popular.
I'm really happy about that.
Yeah, it's great.
It's good because I think it shows it marked a cultural moment.
Yeah, that's a really interesting point, actually. Definitely. I think that's
Let me write the TV series. Let me do it.
Whoever is there, they have the fat.
Let me do it.
So we'll move on to your second choice.
Yeah, so this is A Trip to the Stars by Nicholas Christopher, which this is the book that I swapped in because I was this and another one that I was getting like couldn't think about. But I ultimately went back to this because a lot of this book is about stars. I also recently reread it. I read it first when I was 16 and then again recently, and it just stood up as a really fantastic novel. I loved it.
Yeah.
It's very magical. There's like this nephew and an aunt who kind of, by like lots of kind of terrible things happening, end up kind of like living together, and then they get separated, and the book is about them kind of coming back together. They both get bitten by the same spider. And then they have these kind of like incredible like hallucinations, and it's very, very magical and adventurous and exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think it will help you in any meaningful way as you are going into the stars?
Is
that part of why you've selected
it? They speak a lot about constellations. Part of the side effects of them being bitten by these spiders is that they have this incredible relationship to stars, both of them, the nephew and the aunt.
Yes.
So they speak about the constellations a lot throughout the book, and it's really beautiful.
Yeah, that's cool.
And a not very well known book as well.
Yeah, I've never heard of it.
Yeah,
I'm not aware of it.
I was in Spain when I first was like told about it by this guy who was the neighbour of someone I knew who was living out there, and he was quite like an eccentric, quite like witchy, wizardy kind of vibes, like medicine man-ish vibes. And he told me about it, and his story to me was there's only ever been 50 copies. And you have to read it. And so he lent me his copy and I like read through it all on my holiday.
Yeah.
I don't think that's true. But like it added to my experience and I was like, no one's ever read this book. And like, I have to read it now.
Yeah.
It's really so good. I absolutely love it.
That's interesting. So how old were you when you read that?
16.
So 16, yeah. That's quite a nice progression through your reading journey.
Yeah.
Do you feel like that has fed into your writing style or your own creative work in meaningful ways?
Yeah, I think ultimately, like when I finally finish my novel, I feel like the next thing I will be travel, adventure, focus. Because I feel like all of the books I read like that when I was at that age, like The Alchemist, and like Shantaram as well. Like all of these books I was reading at that time, I was so excited by journeys and by adventure because I traveled a lot when I was younger and was like going on, having all these incredible experiences, meeting these fascinating people in the world, and I just wanted to write about it. And I feel like I didn't see many, or like have many experiences of women writing about that stuff. So I'd love to write about like the adventures I've been on and stuff.
Yeah, that's cool. Do you feel like you're channeling that into your novel then, or your novel is slightly different piece of work?
So slightly different. She goes to Ireland for a period of time, and there's definitely something in Journey there, but it's not quite the same. There's definitely something in her meeting people and like noticing things about people, which I think is, for me, very tied in with my experience of like leaving the country when I was like 19. I went to New Zealand by myself and like encountered the like kindness of strangers and found that like life-changing to realize that people all around the world were really actually quite nice.
Particularly in New Zealand.
New Zealand's so great.
Really good. Well, I think maybe we'll move on to your third choice.
Yes.
On the kindness of strangers.
On the kindness of strangers. This is my favourite book of all time. This is my like number one ever. The Princess Bride.
Lovely,
which I think actually has influenced kind of every single thing I do creatively. I must have seen the film when I was younger because I definitely knew the story, but my mum got it for me when I was maybe like 19, 20. And I read the book, and I just have never loved anything more in my life. The way that William Goldman pretends, the way that it's like all a lie, that he's like pretending that like he hasn't fabricated this world and it's all abridged, and it like goes back to him kind of commenting on the story that he's making up in sequences that are also made up. It's just like, it's so fantastic and like fairy tale-esque, but also deeply funny, like so funny and romantic and magical. I love it.
Very meta, right?
So meta. It's like that first chapter, like the first thing he says is like, I wish I could have been smart enough to read this book, to have written this book. I wish I was like someone who was able to fabricate these things, but I couldn't. This is truly the world of Florin, and it's just so fantastic.
Do you think there's something in you that really responds to that? I don't know if it's an unreliable narrator, but like a deeply self-aware narrator.
Yes. And someone who's commenting on what is happening as it's happening. I love that. I think that's so, I find that with my like comedy, that's so much of like what I want to do. And, you know, in my novel as well, because every other chapter is like a phone call. There's something of like breaking with form and like commenting on what's being written. I don't know, that whole relationship I think is so interesting and just like really satisfying to have him take you out of the story and go, gosh, wasn't that interesting?
It is quite a cool writing trick, isn't it, that you kind of bring, it's like you're in cahoots with the reader almost. I think there are a few books that do that sort of thing, but the one that when I was growing up that we were reading, we talked about it on the podcast a couple of weeks ago, is like Lemony Snicket. And that kind of like you're in on the joke with the reader, and the reader is playing
that like direct address kind of like vibe. It's like as close as a book can get to being theatrical. It's like really going, hi,
that's an interesting
I'm with you.
That's quite cool. That's a nice pick. I like that. So that would be well, I can ask you the question now, but at the end ask if there's one book that you would take of the 5. Would that be the one?
Probably. It would be Princess Bride. I think it's got everything, although I don't know, but I think so. I'm pretty sure.
Well, I'll ask you again when you
I'll think about it. You
never know. I like that. So we'll move on to your 4th choice.
Yes, 100 Years of Solitude.
Lovely.
A classic.
Very good too.
A bit boring, but just wow. I mean, wow.
That's it. So we'll move on to the
it's just so fucking good, that book. It's so good. And like I read it like 4 years ago. I was like teaching in Italy, and so I was like getting like a bunch of trains from different like host families across northern Italy, just like get thumbing into that, and it was just like such a great reading experience, and the story just absolutely had me. I mean, it's so like vivid and brilliant. It's so entertaining, so interesting. I think the section where the whole village get insomnia.
Yeah. It literally is a mad book. Everything that happens there, so almost the qualities of it are almost like cartoonish.
Yeah.
Where there are things like, I can't remember exactly how many there are, but Aureliano, when all the sons he's had from different, they all rock up at the same time. I think there's 16. He's like the 16 Aurelian. It literally is like something from The Simpsons.
Yeah. It's incredible. It's like, and he gets away with exploring such a disturbing, strange things because it all feels quite like not quite real. I guess it's the magical realism vibe of it, which is interesting because I read or almost finished Love in a Time of Cholera last year, and then I got 10 pages to the end and I didn't finish it because I really didn't. I kind of really lost my patience with it.
It ends in quite a strange way, that book. Florentina. I can't. With the young girl, basically. It's quite odd.
I think it just like I think I kind of got to the point where I was like, okay, fine. There's a kind of like some pedo vibes going on here, and then at the end, for him just to fall in love with like another child, I was just like, come on, man.
There is a fairly justified response to the end. I kind of agree with you on cholera, because all the way up until that point, you're fine rooted.
Tiring, and you're like, you've got to the point where you're kind of like, no, he just loves her. He loves that one her. It's her. She's the thing that he loves, and it's like, no, it's not her. It's kids.
So it's a strange one. That's a great pick. It's a great pick. This is a kind of follow-on question, but I find it a bit annoying that they've made a Netflix series of that, and I've like refused to watch it. Have you seen it?
I have seen it.
What did you think of it?
I actually quite liked it, but I liked it, and I have this sometimes with adaptations. I think if I like a world enough, I'm willing to forgive quite a lot. Okay. Like I remember having that when the Hobbit films came out, because like I love Lord of the Rings so much that I was like, I just kind of want more. And then the second and the third one came out, and I was like, no, you've pissed me off now. These are just terrible. But there's something like, I don't know, I think I could spend so much more time in that world. It's so fascinating, and the way that he writes and the kind of just peculiar laws of nature that exist in that moment. I just want more of it. So actually I watched the series and I quite enjoyed it. Yeah.
It's a tricky one because I think he said he didn't want any adaptations made of his work in his will. Is that right? Or maybe...
Oh, interesting.
I don't remember the exact details, but during his lifetime he didn't want adaptations made, but it seems to be after he passed away that he'd been dead for a few years.
Well, that's messed up.
Yeah, I don't really... Because it kind of taps into... This was just turning into me being a Luddite and banging on about how terrible the modern world is, but... everything needing to be made into content or into TV shows. I don't know. That's something that I find a bit sad in a way.
Yeah, it's sad.
It's a great work of fiction. You can let it exist.
It's interesting because, like, back to Pride and Prejudice, like, if Joe Wright and those people hadn't adapted that story, I guess I wouldn't have enjoyed it.
Like, I've rage read the book twice and for them fucking hated it.
But I guess the difference of 100 Years of Solitude is it's so good. It's so fantastic that you don't need an adaptation.
Yeah. Well, I guess some people would say the same thing about Pride and Prejudice.
Yeah, probably.
What can it do?
And fuck those people.
There's the clip. There's the fruit. So I think we'll move on to your final choice.
Yes,
the first five. Your five favourites.
This is Master and the Margarita. Which is interesting because I think the middle of that book I don't love. But the beginning and the end I think are so fantastic that I'm kind of all right with it. And I feel like it's good because that, along with 100 Years of Solitude, they're so dense that I feel like I could really get into them in space. And also not too sad. Like, I think the Russians can be quite sad. And
it's cold there. The Siberia, it's a cold place.
Yeah, cold place.
Crazy stuff that goes on.
Dostoevsky had a pretty bad time then. He wasn't loving it. But I loved Master and Margarita, and I wasn't really like expecting it. I read it on like a girls' holiday.
That's a good
all my
pick,
friends in Greece, and they were all reading like loads of like, I don't know, like modern literature. And then I was like sitting there reading Moscow Margarita. And I was just like, the devils in Moscow.
I'm better than you guys. So,
You know, I was like on the sun lounge, just kind of like, oh, they're like, what's happening now, Mo? And I'll be like,
giant
the devils. Yeah, exactly. They're like floating now. That like opening dialogue though with like the philosopher, and then when it goes into like, yes, you are, in Jerusalem, the reimagined, is so fantastic. Like it's so brilliant.
Yeah, it's genius. And when it's
yeah. The trap is literally the whole thing. But then I think once they're kind of just flying around Moscow, just like being naughty, that bit I kind of like lost interest.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
I wasn't as interested. And then by the end, when it comes back, I just like really incredible and very entertaining. And I think not too moany, not too sad.
Yeah.
Kind of just fascinating.
Yeah, what do you see as the moral of that book? Do you think there is a moral?
I guess maybe it's that like you can't change our awful nature, that we are just like greedy, that we are bad.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's like, I don't think it's particularly positive.
Yeah.
I don't feel like it's having, but I also think it's like the way in which the story is told is like entertaining enough that like that doesn't really, I'm okay with that, like being kind of like a negative.
Do you agree with that moral?
No, I'm a Buddhist. So I guess I'm like kind of quite positive minded when it comes to the potential of like human consciousness.
Oh, that's very lovely. Yeah. I have a very basic understanding of Buddhism, but that was based on my understanding of it. So,
loving kindness, mindfulness.
Yeah.
There's no self.
Frequent saunas.
And
scribbling out names in the Bible.
Yeah, scribbling out names. Yeah, that's why I had to find it to kind of cope with my over attachment to self.
Yeah, that's interesting. Wait, so what brought you into Buddhism then?
I mean, I just kind of like went through it. I had a bit of a rough time in life, and then could really tell that I needed to meditate. I'm such like an overthinker. My thoughts have thoughts that have thoughts that have thoughts. I have OCD. And I really needed to find a space to just be still, I think. And then I really needed it. And that's how it happened, which I think is interesting because I think you can have this idea of wanting to meditate or wanting to be mindful or whatever, but I definitely wouldn't have come to it if I hadn't needed to, if that makes sense. Because it's an undertaking. Yeah. And now I've been on like a few retreats and meditate every day. Yeah. And I can tell that it just is very helpful for my like mind and my creative life, to be honest.
That's interesting. Yeah, because at the beginning of our conversation, you were saying you're like following lots of different threads.
Yeah.
Does it help you manage that to a decent enough extent to make sure you're productive, basically? Because I could imagine if you have all these different interests and things you want to pursue, it could end up being a bit overwhelming.
Yeah, it is still overwhelming. I think it's interesting with Buddhism. This is kind of like probably another conversation, but it's fascinating to me the way in which your first day on retreat, you're probably like having a lot of ideas. Yeah. Like you're meditating like 6 hours. You're probably going to be like quite a lot of ideas are going to come to you because you've got no distraction. But then ultimately what happens is that like you're not meant to bring books or read poems or anything. You're not really meant to kind of digest any art. And I feel like you get to a point where it almost feels like your desire or your craving to create is itself kind of a distraction. I don't know if it's really encouraging of making work, if that makes sense.
Interesting. So what is it encouraging of? Just
being, just sort of being, and just like, I don't know what it is, the part of my brain that feels the need to like communicate and connect with people. I think like a deep like desire to be understood is something in there. And needing to communicate from that place. But I wonder if the more you meditate, you would just lose that need, if you know what I mean. You kind of get to a point where you'd be like, well, I don't really need that anymore because I don't really need anything, which is a bit frightening. Yeah.
How do you think that is an ultimate state to reach? Is that something you would want to reach?
No. I think I'm a bit less committed. I think I'm like enjoying the fruits of what meditation and like the Dharma or like those lessons, enjoying that world and like getting a lot out of it. But I have no desire to be enlightened in this lifetime.
Okay.
So maybe I'm not a Buddhist.
Yeah.
Buddhist adjacent. I'm kind of like slightly interested.
Yeah, just dabbling in.
I'm like dabbling in
Buddhism.
Buddhism. I think essentially for me, it's like the tenets of like mindfulness and loving kindness being the way to structure your life in pursuit of those things. To me, makes sense.
Yeah, I like that. Well, on that note, we're going to move on to the book that you hate so much you want to throw into space. So moving on from
We're about to move into a very
an enlightenment. So you get to throw one book into the void, into a black hole.
Easiest question I've ever had to answer.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
You found this one very easy to take from you. So you commit this book to obscurity forever. What is your choice?
On the Roads, Jack Kerouac. Burn it in a fiery pit. May it be burned. May every young man who loves that book be tortured. I'm joking. It's okay, guys. I understand. It's your journey to selfhood.
We don't want anyone to be tortured.
No one.
People who like it are idiots.
No, they're not. They're not idiots. They're fine. They all went to university with me.
Every single one of them. Every single boy who.
They all held their acoustic guitars and loudly strummed in my face, talking to me about On the Road.
Have you read Kerouac?
Have you read Kerouac? Yeah, it's okay that people like it. I just hate it. And I think I feel so disappointed by it because it feels to me like the kind of book I should love because of like travel, adventure, all of those things. And I think that's where I feel my most hate when it comes to art is when it's almost something I'd love and then it disappoints me. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's like tantalizing.
Yeah, because you're kind of like, oh. And I remember when I read it, I must have been, I was like, when I was traveling, so I was like 19. And he's just so sexist. And it's like, sexism is annoying all the time because that's annoying, that's a thing. But I've read other books where it's not as annoying. And there's like a passage where Sal's like, puts his hand over the mouth of a girl when she yawns. And he's like, talks about her and he's like, I had this little girl who like spoke too much. It's like all his attitude to women is always like, or the character's attitude is always, these like kind of like the opposite of what I was talking about with Angus Thom's, where it's like this whole so obviously had this view of women as like frivolous, silly things that spoke too much and should shut up. And they were like distractions from his big adventure. And I just, it makes the book so impenetrable for me because how can I read that and not just be like, ugh. Like why is this what women have to be? Like why is this the representation that they can only be distractions and silly little things that talk too much?
Yeah. I quite like that as Angus Thongs as the counter, the cultural counter. I quite like that.
Yeah.
That is the thesis that I would read.
Yeah. I'd love to write it. I mean, I feel like I think it's so awful. I think it's so awful. And I understand that it means so much to lots of young men, but I do just feel like it's like there's another part of me that it brings up a lot for me because I feel like why is that acceptable to you? It makes me feel like why can you read that and it doesn't bother you that he's speaking that's the way that he speaks about women? Why does it not bother you? It should.
How do you analyze that it has that resonance and impact for a lot of young men? Or how do you analyze that?
Well, I think obviously it's about adventure and about wanting to go off and self-actualization. There's lots about it that's probably really brilliant and like really chimes with the psyche. I think there are loads and loads of books that are kind of quite deeply sexist in the canon, and there's just something about his sexism and his particular viewpoint that I find just particularly gross and horrible. But I think I understand why it obviously connects with people, but I guess it's just what it makes me feel like is it makes me question someone's. I'm like, is this what you think women are? Is this what they are? Are they foil? Is a silly woman a foil in your life? Like the way in which like Bridget Jones would be seen as like a very silly book about silly things like being 30 and that's all seen as silly. This whole perspective of like something that might be, you know, liked by women or by girls. Even like with 50 Shades of Grey or like these things, I'm not saying, obviously it's not good, but the point is like there is this like cultural perspective of this silliness, this female silliness, and I feel like Kerouac just like really is into that, and I can't stand it. It offends me hugely.
Yeah.
What do you
That's
think?
a very good choice. No, I think it's a good choice. I feel like it. We previously had Catcher in the Rye selected as well.
Okay, yeah.
Which I think, I mean, they're obviously different books, different writers, but I feel like it kind of comes from a similar place of slight entitlement or there's a definite big strain of misogyny, I think, in both of those.
Yeah.
On the Road, I think it's more discernible and palpable, I think.
Yeah.
Catcher in the Rye.
Yeah, because it's also just it's indulgent, and it's indulgent in a way that's like, I don't know. There's like, I find it like, I remember having this when I read One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, that like I had to kind of like stop reading it sometimes because I felt like the depiction of the nurse, I was just kind of like, and it's annoying to be like a woman and to be reading something and to feel like you can't really enjoy it because of the perspective.
Yeah.
In a way, I'm not even sitting there going like, these ideas are bad and wrong, which I do also think. I'm also just thinking, ugh, well, now I can't enjoy this.
Yeah.
And that's annoying.
Because then it's quite like jarring.
Yeah.
It takes you out of the, that's interesting. The only book I, like On the Road, I'm very ambivalent about. I think it's a bit weird and undeserved, the kind of cultural reach it has.
Yeah.
But the books I do love that I kind of think could be argued to fit into that same category, like Nausgard. I don't know if you read any of his work.
No.
It's all auto-fiction, and it is like very self-indulgent male writing.
Yeah.
But I really like a lot of what he writes because I think his whole project is basically just exposing himself.
Yeah.
Not in a, well, he does expose pretty much every aspect of his life in those books. But then I think people could very fairly argue that a lot of that has a negative impact on like the women in his life.
Yeah.
The way he's written about his wife has had a really bad impact for her.
It's hard, isn't it? Because there's
yeah.
there's like so many books that are written where it's like, you know, what is the perspective of the author and what are they showcasing and da-da-da. I had like similarly found it hard with Crime and Punishment because it was like so brutal and I kind of just like couldn't connect really with it from that angle. But like sometimes it's kind of fun. Like I definitely feel like some of the books I've enjoyed a lot have also been inappropriate in lots of ways.
Yeah.
I mean, in Hundreds of Solitude, he's like in love with a 12-year-old.
Yeah,
like
that's
a fair amount
shit in there. Yeah, it's true. Yeah, it is an interesting question that, and I guess it's kind of a personal question to be answered.
Yeah.
And maybe that's just a taste thing, like what resonates with
Also,
you.
so many people pretend to have read On the Road.
Yeah,
That's the one that I feel like, if people were being honest, like so many of the guys I met at uni, and I'm just like, I just know that you didn't read it. I had that with Hundreds of
It's a lot of that.
Solitude.
It's like, you know, it's at least a 200-page book.
It's at least a 200-page book.
Yeah.
But it's like the thing
Think
to
about how many
say.
songs you could learn on the acoustic guitar
Yeah,
in that
think
time.
about it.
You could learn Wonderwall.
Exactly, you could learn
And
Wonderwall.
potentially Don't Look Back in Anger in that time. And what's going to
Yeah,
have more of an
that's
impact for
more
your time at
important.
university? We've got to think about it. I hate to rush, but I think we do need to come
good.
to the final book in the episode
Yeah.
of the one you nominate to commit to the canon.
Yeah.
So it's a possibility when you're on this rocket ship that the rocket ship is going to start breaking apart as you get further away from Earth. You get to add one book, the final remaining existent copy of this book, to an actual literal canon that goes out into space, and that is what humanity is remembered by.
Wow.
What is that book that you're going to choose?
Well, so I've got the book.
Uh-huh.
This is the book that I'm going to commit to canon. This is The Rattlebag, which is a collection of poetry. Seamus Heaney and Ted Hughes. And this is my literal grandfather's copy of it, which he used to read to me when I'd go to his house. He was a English literature teacher from Dublin. And he was like went to UCD and was obsessed with James Joyce and was very philosophical and very, very fascinating mind, and really just such an orator. Like his voice was incredible. Like the saddest thing about, not the saddest thing, but one of the saddest things about him dying is just like not being able to hear him read and speak because his voice was just so rich. And I'd go around and he'd read me poems from this. And then when he passed away at his funeral, I read La Belle Dame sans Merci, the Keats poem, which was like one of our favourites to read together. And this is, I mean, look how well read it is.
That's really lovely.
He writes little like annotations on things,
beautiful.
and
Yeah,
it's really gorgeous. It's my favorite
that's
ever.
gorgeous. Yeah,
My most sentimental book.
yeah, lovely. So the Keats poem, that is your favourite
Yeah.
within your collection, would you say?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It means so much to me, and I just think it's so beautiful.
Yeah.
What is it? Is it light-winged dryad of the trees? I think that's one of the lines.
Yeah.
Keats, man, he knew what was up. He knew. Yeah, really good.
Yeah, that's a lovely choice. Really like
Yeah.
that. Yeah, so that'll be kind of emotional to part with that though.
Very emotional.
I guess you're about to die because your rocket
Yeah.
ship is about to explode. So it's going to be, you've got other
be,
things going on.
yeah.
There's emergency alarms to get
Yeah.
off, presumably. Well, lovely choice. It's committed to the canon. We're building a canon. We're building our own canon. And I think at some stage we're going to introduce the possibility of people to argue to remove books from the canon.
Oh, great.
I don't think I'd find it very sad if someone argued to remove
That would
it.
be really sad.
But I think we're going to get to a point where if someone wants to save On the Road and put that to the canon, we're going to have a bit of a debate.
If someone wants
and then the other way
to
around.
leave On the Road in place of my granddad's
No, that's not going to happen. That's not going to be allowed. That's not going to be swapped in. Yeah, that'd be good. We could orchestrate that as a debate. But just to generate more debate.
Yeah, good.
Literary debate.
Yeah, very good.
But that's a lovely choice. Thank you so much for sharing that with
No
us.
worries.
And your grandfather sounds like a lovely man.
Oh, he was
very
great.
lovely chap. Yeah.
Michael.
Do you have any recordings of his voice?
Do you know what's so sad is that before he passed away, I recorded him. There was like a Irish like rhyme, called, like Moriarty, and it was this like little limericky type lovely rhyme thing, and I recorded him speaking it to me because it was just so. There's this like line that goes, "He went direct with his head erect to join the DMV," and my granddad's voice saying it was so brilliant, and then I lost it.
Oh, no.
I lost the recording,
Oh,
and I was devastated.
Yeah, that's gutting.
Because then he was dead.
Yeah,
So.
yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
But at least you have this lovely book.
but I have the
from
book.
him.
Yeah, and this is he
That's
left
very
it to me specifically
that's
as well.
Wonderful, yeah.
He like wanted me to have it, so
Very sweet.
means a
Those
lot.
annotations, beautiful.
yeah, I know.
Beautiful.
He once wrote me a letter because he used to write me letters. He once wrote me a letter that just said, "Molly Rose sat on a pin, Molly Rose." What a guy!
Come on. You could have added that to one of the Bible verses.
know,
Is
so
it defeated? So we're closing up the episode.
Yes.
Thank you so much for telling us your wonderful
worries.
choices. So if you were only allowed to pick one book, King the
Yeah,
Princess Bride.
yeah,
is the
Princess
one
Bride.
for
Can I do
your
one
first-
honorable mention?
Yeah.
I need to speak about The Magician's Nephew because that's the one that I didn't, that I
Mhm.
swapped out with Trip to the Stars.
Mm.
But Magician's Nephew, the first in the series, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, the C.S. Lewis books,
Mm.
that was like the first book that ever had any effect on me as a human being, and like massively affected me, and it was very hard for me to not include it.
Yeah.
But that was like when I was like 6.
Okay. You can still include it. It's a hard
Magician's
one.
Nephew.
So you swapped so that was in the lists.
It
and
was
then
on my
Trip to the
list
Stars
initially.
supplanted it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh well, that's good to have an honorable
Yeah, it's really
mention.
good. You see the witch like before she kind of becomes evil, and he also wrote it last, and then it
yeah,
was
I think I remember that.
yeah,
now,
yeah. So he actually like wrote it last, and then it was like
Yeah.
the pre to like the series.
Yeah.
And there's all these different pools, and the witch is like going into these pools, and it was so frightening and disturbing to me that like I like put the book in my cupboard to hide from it because I found it so yeah and that like lodged itself in me, like that's in there,
Yeah.
big imagery.
That's wow. Great honorable mention for C.S. Lewis.
Okay, good.
So the final question is you get to send one last transmission back to Earth.
Okay.
So you could send a letter to one person. You could send an Instagram story if you want.
Wow.
To your Instagram followers. That feels a bit shit, but you can do that.
So well.
And that goes out to a lot of people. What would you send
Yeah.
back to Earth as a final message from Molly Rose Treves?
Oh, gosh, I think I'd send a letter that I'd let everyone read in my life. I wouldn't do an Instagram thing. I'd send a letter. I'd probably say like, be nice to each other, have a lot of sex, run around, use your body, and read some books.
If this is a poetry night, I'll be clicking.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
And know that, and like I love you, and know that that's all, and I'm still here, and we're all still here, and nothing ever really ends.
That's beautiful.
Okay.
Beautiful message to leave on. Thank you, Molly Rose Treves, for joining us. Thank you for joining us on Rocket Ship Reads.